you got like 10 weeks going on.
I laugh like you're.
For your answer for this one, you must start inside the parentheses and do 3 minus 1 to get 2, square that to get 4, multiply it by that 4 to get 16. This is a 9, not 6. 3 squared is 9. And then on the end, 4 times 3 is 12. If you add all of those up, you should come up with 37. Last one. You must start inside the brackets, and then when you're inside the brackets, you must go inside the parentheses. So that's a 3. Square the 3 to get 9. Multiply by that 3 to get 27. Add the 2 and then subtract 10, and you'll come up with 19, which you multiply by 3 from there to get 57. 2 plus 57 is 59. Pick a number from 1 to 5. The winning number today is 5. If your homework is complete, bring it up. Out of 22. So we have 22 present, 19. 19 divided by 22 is 86%. Some of these have more than one right answer. What I'm going to do is give you the one that I have, and I'm going to go through all 10 just like normal, but at the end of it, if you have a question about if yours is right, also, then you can ask them. I'll even put the homework on the screen, and we can write on there if we have to. For number 1, 5n minus 10. Or an x, 5x minus 10, whichever. 18 over n, and then plus 6. And we'll answer all your questions at the end when we get through it. 3 over 1/6 x minus 3. 4, 7x minus x over 3. 5. On number 5, the answer should actually be x plus 2 plus x plus 4. For this some strange reason, I've put that on there as a mistake. You could also write this as 3x plus 6 as well. Number 6, the quotient of x and the difference of the product of 6 and a number and 5. 7, the sum of 2 and the quotient of 100 and a number. 8, the sum of 5 and 1/2 of a number. 9, the sum of 2 and the quotient of 100 and x. 10, the sum of the product of a number and the quantity of a number less than 5, and the quotient of 10 and a number. For number 5, this is why it has to be the way it is. You have 3 consecutive integers and you don't know what they are. So if I pick the first one, I just let it be represented by x. So notice that in even integers such as 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on, they are all how far apart? 2. So if this is your first even integer, and you remember this is a sum, so you have to add 3 things, which means 2 plus signs at the least. This is your first even integer. The next one here must be 2 higher than that. And how much higher will this one be than this one? It'd be 4 higher than that one. And if you simplify this, you could also put 3x and then plus 2 plus 4, which is 6. It would have to be that. Today's objective. More expressions. Interpret the expressions that represent a quantity in terms of its context. We're looking at parts such as terms, factors, and coefficients, and more complicated ones by viewing one or more of their parts as a single entity. Here's an example. The product of 4 and the sum of a number and 5. The product means what? Multiply. So I have two things I'm going to multiply. Something here and something there. What is the first something? Yes. 4 is right. And the next something is the sum of a number and 5. How do I write that? X plus 5 is right. Okay, if I just put this in here, am I right?
No.
Why not?
Because that would be multiplying 4x plus 5.
He's right. If we only left it as it is, we would be multiplying 4 times x and then adding 5, when in reality it's the product of 4 and the sum, not the product of 4 and just x. So what must be in here to make this right? Parentheses, yes. So 4 times the quantity of the sum of x and 5 is really how you would read it afterwards. But the way this is written here, you have no choice but to put parentheses in. And the word quantity was nowhere in there. So you don't need the word quantity to put parentheses in. 5 more than the product of a number and 12. What do I put first? Yes.
Put the 5 on the right side. You put your add sign in front of that. And then you would have you'd have 12x.
That's right. 12x plus 5. 3 less than the quantity squared of the sum of 4 and the product of a number and 2. 3 less than, what do I write for that? Minus 3, and where do I put it? On the right. Next up, it's 3 less than, what's next? The quantity squared. What do I write for that? Parentheses and squared. Now, of means this is going to be inside the parentheses. The sum of means I put what? Sum, I write what? Addition. The sum of 4, where does the 4 go? We'll put it on the left. And the product of a number and 2, what's that? 2x. Yes, so that's it. If I were going to say this from left to right, I would say the quantity squared of 4 plus 2x, close the quantity, minus 3. If I just say quantity squared of 4 plus 2x minus 3, it's implied that the minus 3 would be inside the parentheses. That's why we say close the quantity every now and then, because it's absolutely necessary. Try this one and drop it off up here. For the practice problem, the quotient of means division. Now on the top you'll have the sum of a number and 3. On the bottom you will have the difference of 2 and a number. If you had this, I will take it. You could have also had this. X plus 3 in parentheses divided by 2 minus x in parentheses. You could also have for this 3 plus x over 2 minus x. Try this one and bring it up. The sum of means plus. The sum of the product of, which is going to be on the left side, 5 and a number, and signifies the division here for the addition. I know that sounds strange, division of addition, but it separates, that's a better word. Separates the addition problem in half here with this word. The quotient of 6 and a number. So 5x plus 6 over x. Say the answer out loud when you think you know it, by the right letter. Which one would be the answer for that equation?
One. Oh, C.
She says C. Anybody else have a different answer? All right, if you're choosing C, we'll check it. To solve an equation, I'm sure that you've been taught at some point, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, to add the opposite to both sides because these cancel out. And then negative 2 plus 3 is 1. That is right. What I do is this. Here's the same equation again. I simply move them. If I move this away from the x and cross the equal sign, I do the opposite on the other side. So it's x equals negative 2 plus 3, which is the same answer, 1. What is the answer to this one? D is in dog. All right, we'll see. X equals negative 1. If I move this over to this side, I have to change the sign because I crossed the equal sign. And it is indeed negative 7. What's the answer to this one? C. Same process, except we're leaving 2x on the left and we're moving this over, making it minus 1. Which is going to give us an 8 on the right, and if we divide the 8 by the 2, we do indeed get a 4, which is C. I want to write this out in words. If I want to write it out in words, where do I start? Yes?
The quantity.
If we start with the quantity, how will we signify this? The sum, that's right. So we'll go the sum of, and now what's next?
The quantity of the difference of a number and 1 squared. The quantity squared of the difference of a number and 1.
Right, the quantity squared of the difference of a number and 1, and then what?
Close one.
We wouldn't have to. In this case, the sum of the quantity squared of the difference of a number and 1 and 5. Don't forget that the sum of means that the next thing here, I need to go to red. The sum of, this is the first thing after it, the quantity squared of the difference of a number and 1. This and pertains to this stuff, and then and 5. Now at some point when you reach things that are larger than this, which you wouldn't be writing them all out anyway, but it would become easier to use plus. But as long as you only have a couple of ands, then it's not a big deal. Just remember when you get to the end of the sum of, the first thing after that is what's going to be in there. But the next and that comes up implies that this has already been closed off. So and 5 means it's the other half of the sum.